I'm here in the glass studio and just going to run through some of the tools and their application, and yeah, let's get stuck right into it. So the first thing we're going to be looking at is glass cutters, because there's no point in doing glass work if you don't know how to cut glass. So quite a few of you have probably seen this type of glass cutter, and yeah, it's just a basic glass cutter, but things have come a long way since these were first used. These will need to be used with a solution like a lightweight oil, about 30 weight oil, or some kerosene. And it's the same with this one, but although this one here is used for heavier glass, says 6 to 12 millimetre, and you can see there's quite a bit of a difference between that one there and that one there. This one here actually is an oil-filled one, so you can see the oil in there, and the oil runs down through a little bit of a wick and into the roller on the end there. Right, you can see the roller there, and that helps to lubricate the wheel and the glass as you're cutting. Then we go to the fancy dancy pistol grips. So once again, these are oil filled, but what we've done is we've actually made our own little fittings down the bottom so that you can soak them with a bit of oil as well, because quite often these things will leak, or the caps don't get put on properly, like that one there. So we've actually got them so that you can dip them in there and cut away. So that one there you can see has got oil in it. That one there doesn't have any oil in it, but it has oil down the bottom there. So that's it for glass cutters. There's actually one other glass cutter I haven't shown you, which is a circle cutter, and basically this circle cutter, you actually stick it down onto the glass with the suction cup, and you can see that lifts it up. You actually put a blob of oil down where the cutter is, and the cutter will actually go, the cutter is actually on a caster. So you put a blob of oil down and you run it around just to spread the oil around, and then you run it around again and you do the cut. When you're doing those cuts and you cut those circles, sometimes it pays to cut relief lines in the sides, so that's easier to change them, to break them. Anne is just demonstrating here how to use the pistol cutter with a right angle or a square, and now just breaks it off on the side of the bench. Just a little bit of extra pressure and bang, away it goes. One thing that I forgot to mention is to make sure that the glass is clean before you cut it, otherwise you can foul up the cutting tips. You might also notice that when Anne's cutting here, she's actually pulling towards her. So when you're using a square or a cutting board, you actually pull towards you. If you're doing it freehand, you push away from you.
This is 4mm glass, that's a bit...
It's a bit thicker.
thicker.
Like some. One of the good things about working with glass is it's 100% recyclable. So if there's a piece that is broken, it might be useful for something else. These are old windows, and we're just trimming off the crappy bits because it's easier to trim them off than it is to clean them up. I'll go into the recycle, and the rest of the glass is clean and ready to be used again. The next tool that you'll want in your glass working arsenal is a pair of running pliers. These, so you'll notice there's a bit of a line down there. So that lines up with the score mark that you put on your glass. And if you look at it on this profile, you'll see how it's got a bit of a bend. So when you put that on there and squeeze them together, it actually bends the glass, and it'll break it along the score. So here I'm demonstrating using the pistol grip on a Morton cutting table or Morton cutting board. So pull towards you and away you go. And now we'll get the running pliers, and with the notch at the top, line it up with the score mark, just a firm clip, and away you go. It's cut it right off, nice and clean, right down that score line. Okay, so here I'm going to cut a bit of mirror. I've got a score line. I've used a nice straight line pulled towards me. Get the running pliers out and firm clip, and away you go. Nice neat cut. Now there is another way that you can actually break it. You don't need running pliers to do it, and I'll show you here. So a thumb either side of the score line, and just tilt it away from you, or tilt it up, and it breaks nice and easily. Once again making a cut, but this time a freehand, so I'm actually pushing away from me, and I'm going to break it with my fingers and on both sides of the line, and done. Next tool is a pair of grozing pliers. Now if you look at these, you'll see you've got the curved side and the flat side. Okay, now there's a reason for that. So the flat tip, you can see that line across there, it's too narrow for the running pliers, but with the grozing pliers it's quite easy to break that bit off. And if I flip these around the other way and put the curve on there, I can actually nibble little bits off it. So I've got a bit of a curve on there now instead of a flat. The next tool is the nippers, and so that's these little beauties, and basically all they do is cut bits and pieces of glass off as you need it. There are a few other tools that you're going to need. One of them is a decent square, and now this square, you'll see that there's a lip there, and if I was to put that onto the glass, that'll hold it square on one side, and then you can have a right angle on the other side. Let's just flip around the other way now. Square will hook up on the glass, so if you imagine that cutting mat as the glass, and that will actually give you a square cut, although according to this the cutting mat's not square, which is quite probable. Well, it's pretty close though, but that'll square it up. And all you do when you're cutting, if you're using a square or the Morton cutting board, you pull towards you, but if you are doing it freehand, you push away. So this is a Morton cutting board, and basically it's a board so that if you're doing repetitious work, cutting the same size, like you want a stack of say 70mm strips, which I've got this one set up for. If you have a look, that's in inches. That will be in 70mm. Now you'll notice down there, it's not quite on 70. It's actually past it, but you've got to allow for the offset on the cutting wheel. So that gives you an exact 70mm, and you can cut, break, and you'll knock out heaps in a short period of time with this. You get other attachments that can actually set it up. They can do angles and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. It's a pretty decent board, and as you can see, it catches all the little bits of glass, so they're not getting stuck into your hands and fingers and everywhere else. Well, supposedly. So here I'm just demonstrating cutting using the Morton cutting board. I'll measure up my distance, make sure it's all right, hold it all down flat, and then pull towards me, and it's a nice clean cut. Take the board out from underneath it, and limited space here, but I just leaned it over the top of the the rule and just gently push it down and it'll break. The reason they're cutting these is because even though they're nice big sheets that could probably be useful, they just won't fit in our shelves. So we're cutting them down into more usable sizes, and we don't use big sheets that often. Now, for those of you who know us, you're probably wondering why I'm the one that's doing the videoing and Anne's not. Well, the truth is, Anne's camera shy, so she claims. However, I'm going to probably set up some overhead cameras in here one day when she's working and secretly videotape her and do some voiceovers on it. I can't think of anything else I need to show you at the moment. So I'll add this to and have some examples of it being used, and away we go. While I think of it, if you like what you're seeing, leave a comment. If you like some more of Anne's glasswork, yeah, let her know, because I've been trying to get her to do some more videoing of her glasswork, and I think it's well worth looking at. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, like, and tell your friends about us, and let's see if we can get this channel off the ground. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.